Hey guys, welcome back to Warrior Poet Society. We're joined with John Lovell. I'm Evan Temple, and we're not a political animal by any means, but we figured with Bernie running hot in the polls, we should probably talk about what's happening in our country. What does that make you feel like?
Somehow this man is the Democratic front runner, and Super Tuesday is coming up. Lots at stake, and so we wanted to go through a bunch of the issues that are really relevant to us, and some of you guys will lead a conversation on that. But what do we got here, man?
John, we have the ingredients for a socialist economy right here in front of you, but don't get ahead of yourselves. First, message from our sponsor.
All right, welcome back, folks. We're at Warrior Poet HQ. We've got a call-in to talk about Warrior Poet apparel, which is interesting because we don't have a radio station and we don't have phones. Let's go ahead and take it.
Hello there, John. Hello. Can you hear me?
I've got...
Hello, John. Are you there?
I have you, comrade.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Warrior Poet apparel. You were calling in regarding Warrior Poet Society.
I want to talk about that, John, but first I want to answer your question about your apparel by saying, so what we're going to do is we're going to take your money, I'm going to take your clothes and all your stuff you sell on your store, and then I'm going to give it to my friends and put some of it in my pocket for me.
Do you believe that owning Warrior Poet apparel should be a human right?
John, I think your point there is very valid. But what it is mostly about is taking your money and putting it in my pocket. We all agree on that. Thank you very much.
We don't. No agreement.
Please, you didn't hear me the first time. What I want to do is not take your money and just put it in my pocket. What I want to do is take most of your money and my money, but mostly your money, and take it and give it to the people of the planet. And then stick a lot in my pocket and purchase another house.
Wow, thanks. Guys, we'd also like to give a shout out to Centera Investors. They're the ones that are going to make you millions.
Hold on there, John. Hold on. How many millions can I have for the campaign to take down Trump and put billions?
I thought you were against millionaires. You've been...
Yes. Billionaires, John. Billionaires.
Why not millionaires? It was millionaires.
Before I was a thousandaire. Then, after I became a thousandaire, I became a millionaire, and now I'm very against billionaires. That much we know. We agree on that. Thank you, please.
Fantastic. Glad we got that cleared up.
And we're back here for... Sorry about that.
His Bernie impression is so spot on. I've been trying to do it. We've all agreed.
His sounds more like Arnold Schwarzenegger mixed with a Bernie.
It's the only impression I ever learned how to do. So, no, I can't do Bernie, but I can do the Arnold.
All right, give him an Arnold.
No, you got to set me up. Ask me what's best in life.
What's best in life, John?
To crush enemies. See them driven before you.
Yes.
And hear the lamentations of the women.
Not bad.
No, it's not very good either, but it's the best impression I've got so far to date.
We're talking about Bernie Sanders.
We are.
So we're gonna make the Bernie Paloma, and we need the first ingredient before we jump into that.
So, time out. This is his. Somehow this man has an actual drink.
Our cameraman came to us this morning and said he's got a real drink. It's got maple syrup and a bunch of junk in it. And it's the Bernie Paloma, so we're going to make that.
We're making the Bernie Paloma, and each of the ingredients is going to be a placeholder, a stand-in for one of the issues that we're going to be talking about with you guys. So we'll lead to discussion. Again, Evan said this in the intro. We're not really a political animal, but we want to weigh in with some issues because it really affects us all, whether it's, your rights for owning guns or keeping your money or the climate change.
And we've got some Democratic voting viewers, and Super Tuesday's next week. This is more germane than anything.
Happy to have you, whether you're conservative or liberal and not lefty. You guys aren't one of us. But the liberals, we're fine. Democrats, Republicans.
We'll take you. We're have to change your mind. Let's get Nick in, Dr. Krankenwagen, all the way from Germany and the test facility.
Very happy to have him.
Yeah, so we can get this.
It's a long flight, people. Give him a hand.
Okay, I believe we're going to start off this drink with, we've got to cool things down, so we're going to...
Guten Tag, wie geht es Ihnen?
Oh, wonderful, good. Okay, so we're going to start with some ice. Okay.
Ice.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar, Perfektionsschlag.
All right, the ice stands for...
Climate change. I think obviously one of Bernie's policies that he's going to start off with, and he's going to get he has gotten a lot of traction is climate change. We've seen a lot this year with Greta.
Danke.
Dankeschön.
And we've exhausted my German.
That's it. Salts and pfeffer. What do you think about climate change so far?
Yeah, I think out of all the issues that we're going to be bringing up, I think how Bernie and many other Dems would plan on tackling the climate change issue, it would be the one that was most catastrophic to the United States. It's known as the Green New Deal. It would be typically, I think people are saying that it'd cost somewhere around $100 trillion.
Which is astronomical money. That's fugazi stuff. It doesn't make any sense at that point.
Right, it would completely, utterly bankrupt the United States. And so first off, it seems to be, yes, climate change is real as the climate has been changing. It's ebbing and flowing for thousands of years.
We believe in climate change. We don't believe in global warming per se.
Well, yeah, I think that the Earth is warming sometimes and cooling others, as it's been doing since we had ice ages before where the world was covered in ice. And this is far long before carbon emissions even were a thing, or vehicles driving around in factories or whatnot. And then we'd also have it where the entire world was a tropical climate. And so there is climate change, ebbs and flows, but the idea that humanity is going to cause our own destruction from driving around in our vehicles.
And it's a little preposterous that they think that they can enact the change that would fix all this in any amount of time with any amount of money under their regime change. We can't even get a driver's license from the DMV. The idea that the government is going to give you a completely healed climate is nearly impossible.
Right, and so if you got $100 trillion and tried to plug a tornado with it, all you would do is lose $100 trillion. I was listening to Dan Crenshaw. Guys, if you aren't following Dan Crenshaw, he is a congressman, former Navy SEAL. The only way Dan Crenshaw could be any cooler, and he's missing an eye, so he's got a cool pirate patch. The only way this dude could be cooler is if he was a former Army Ranger. But you're like, hey, who didn't see that coming? Ha ha. Anyway, he was talking about Bernie Sanders' Green New Deal. And
is this the same Green New Deal that AOC started, and then he's just taking it to full
I don't
fruition?
know who proposed it. Do you know who proposed it? Anyway, it's not a plan, but Dan Crenshaw says it's not a plan. It doesn't have a plan of action, how you would fund any of it. It's just basically saying we're going to eliminate almost everything, and somehow America's going to run just fine on wind turbine and solar, which is just such a naive notion. You're going to bankrupt the country. Ultimately, $100 trillion, what it would cost, is over the course of a decade or so, anyone making 30 grand or over would have to be taxed at 100%. Wow. 100% tax rate. So it's not like you can tax the billionaires and fund it. This is all hands on deck. Everyone gets bankrupted over it, over a problem that is the United States really culpable here? And Dan, or Congressman Crenshaw, pointed out that over the last 20 years, the United States has reduced emissions
more than any other country.
Right.
Especially, they were just talking about that the other day, that Trump's agenda had actually led us to be the #1 in leading carbon emissions.
Right, and if you took the top 12 countries put together, we have reduced more of our emissions than those top 12 countries put together. So, I mean, man, what the radical left is proposing for the climate change fix is devastating.
That being said, John, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got the syrup, which is healthcare, maple syrup. This is a key ingredient of the Bernie Paloma.
Can we summon the German?
Yeah, let's get him in here. Dr. Krankenwagen! Here we go. He's back.
All right.
Hallo, ich bin Herr Dr. Krankenwagen.
Yeah, what is the second?
Hier, maple syrup.
Maple syrup. All right, second in. We're gonna see if this tastes good.
Do you know Bernie Sanders?
I want extra. I'm super sweet.
Do you know Bernie Sanders?
No, nein. Meine Oma, sie ist sehr alt.
Okay, that's good. Let's not get
way too much.
All right,
it's
the German way.
It's gonna be
we want to
disgusting.
actually enjoy this at the end of the drink. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's the German way. All right, so we're on to healthcare for all.
Okay, syrup recommends healthcare.
Yeah.
Because
sweet.
If you have a lot of sugar,
you die. You get fat and die. Healthcare. Free healthcare, John. What does that make you think?
Yeah, conceptually it sounds fantastic.
Right.
But my very first question is like, well,
how are you going to pay for it?
Yeah, what's free? Of like, I know of 2 people, in the election, the race that could actually give me free healthcare, and that's
who's that?
Bloomberg and Trump. Because they
Just
have billions of dollars,
rich?
they could personally fund it, but ultimately there's nothing free. Yeah, someone's got to pay for it. Whether you
circular reasoning.
Right. It's all borrowed money, right?
It's silly. It's really silly.
So he's not getting free anything. It's having the government, big government, get involved. Guys, notice free market economy is just you and the business work together and make a deal, and you do so of your own volition. Right. When you insert big government, now you have a couple new factors of saying, all right, do I trust these people to not be corrupt and to not be greedy and to not cause unnecessary bureaucracy, wasted time, and inefficiency? And if you've ever been to like the DMV, I don't know what it's called now. What's it called now?
Division of Motor Vehicles. I think you nailed it.
Anyway, you notice whenever government gets into something, some person with a terrible attitude who works at the speed of smell.
I knew you were going to say that. That's one of John's go-tos.
Is it? I got it from a comedian. Ron White.
Right.
Anyway, so they move super slow. They're very inefficient, and the bureaucracy ends up adding up. Like before Obamacare was instituted, healthcare was costing you, a few $100s a month, and now it's around $1,300 a month, depending on where you are and what your situation is. But that's just
we don't get free healthcare. We pay a lot in taxes each year, and a lot of it, I'm sure, goes. I mean, I just looked into healthcare again, and it was around $1,400 a month, which means something is
for
true.
just you.
For just me. I don't have a wife or kids. That is way too much. The amount of money I could invest over 30 years, that's millions of dollars. Something is wrong with healthcare, and Republicans don't like to talk about that. But yes, it is too expensive.
Well, and I think Republicans do want to talk about it. You don't mean that as much of. Republicans don't want government to solve the problem.
Exactly.
The government gets involved, and not all Republicans, but many, and myself, have just kind of leave it alone. Leave me alone. Leave the markets alone. The markets are self-correcting for the most part, and so just let the companies fight each other. And competition drives quality up and prices down. That's the beauty of free market economy. It's been working for hundreds of years, and now I'm jumping in. I don't want to get ahead and talk taxes. Let's get our next.
Yeah. Taxes are next.
No, we got to go.
We're going,
lime and grape.
We're going with it's time for the third ingredient of the Paloma. We're going with the fruit. Dr. Krankenwagen, please fill us up.
Hello.
It looks like your goggles steamed up a little bit. You're not able to actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Krankenwagen.
This is taking longer than necessary.
All right. So we have lime, and what is this representing?
We've got college. This is the two portions of the free college, free debt forgiveness. Another free thing that Bernie is offering.
Not free, guys.
Nothing is free. There you go. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. This is ridiculous.
That's way too much.
If this tastes amazing at the end of this, I'm actually be really surprised.
It smells good. It smells like grapes.
He's got to shake it.
There. Smell it. Lean it. You got to lean in.
It's not good yet. It's not good yet. I've got a lot of seeds.
Are we gonna have something to stir it with?
Yeah, he's gonna shake it at the end.
Okay.
All right. So free college. A lot of what's happening is Bernie is offering free money to everyone, and who wouldn't want that? But why are people buying it? I don't quite understand.
The fallacy that anything's free. No, it's just taxes go up. That's the answer. Is taxes go up, and the idea out there is somebody else who's really rich not paying their full share will pay for it, and that's.
This is an idea I've never understood, because a billionaire normally employs thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of. I used to work for AT&T, and they had like nearly 500,000 employees, owned originally by Alexander Graham Bell. There were some billionaires who started these things and were able to make it so that I was able to have a living and pay my taxes. I feel like 500,000 people paying their taxes is a lot of money going into the government.
Yeah, and everyone hates them unless they could become them.
Right.
It's kind of like, do you hate the billionaire? Like, oh yeah, they're terrible. And they're like, well, what if you became a billionaire? They're like, that'd be different.
Matt Walsh made that point last week. He's like, Bernie wasn't against millionaires until he became a billionaire, assuming he was a thousandaire. Is that a
thousandaire?
I feel like I might be a thousandaire.
Wow. Very good. I think Bernie is smart in the fact that he is capitalizing on the millennial vote. If he gets the millennial, that's the largest, now I think it's the largest generation, now outpacing the baby boomers. So if you can get the millennial vote, you can get elected. And so what better than to do, hey, you can have pot and free college and whatever. He's specifically
you got a loan.
Those votes.
I just paid my student loan. It took me almost 10 years to pay my student loan off. There's something to that. Again, something is broken in the whole thing, but maybe school isn't what you should be doing in the first place. because it's so expensive, and you don't need an actual degree to do a lot of the things that make a lot of money, like plumbing.
Right. And if you want a technical degree, engineering, medicine, lawyer, something, then you got to go to college. But if
Right.
you want to be an English major and you're not going to do anything with it necessarily, or
Liberal arts.
liberal arts degree, I've got a liberal arts degree.
I had
really
a printing
don't.
degree that I never used.
I have a degree in finance. I don't think it's worth the paper that it's printed on. I've never actually used it. I don't deal with our finances at all. But
The only way to pay for this is to tax everybody into oblivion, and then, of course, you're paying for college anyways.
and already the price of college has gone astronomically up, and the utility has gone way down. As business owners, people in small business are looking at the average liberal arts graduate and saying, all right, they're entitled.
Right.
They're super entitled. Their skills don't actually match what I need in the workplace, and most of them are anti-capitalist. They're voting. If they're
Right.
entertaining the idea of voting for Bernie, then they are secretly rooting against the companies that would hire them. I don't want
Where
to
are you gonna
hire
get a
somebody.
job?
I'm not going to hire somebody that's against capitalism.
No.
Then you're secretly rooting against me, right?
And we
so-
can't make videos because this whole thing is super expensive.
Yeah, it's all expensive. This
Yeah,
was
we're
expensive.
entrepreneurs and we employ people, and the
expensive.
better we do, the more people we want to employ. We don't just sit around rolling in bags of money, which would be fun. We should make an intro about that. They would all be ones or nickels.
Like this tiny pathetic pile. You're like, I'm doing money angels. Or what?
All right, so how does Bernie plan to pay for this free
I don't know.
college?
He never actually says anything. I've been in preparation for this video, just watched
Right.
tons of his debate stuff and speeches. And man, every time he's asked a direct question, he never gives a really direct answer. It's just talking around an issue of like, here's the problem, and we're gonna take your money, and we're gonna not take your money. Now I'm falling into your script, but
yeah.
he never really answers the
He
question.
did
It's
say
just-
that he wants to tax Wall Street. Amorphous, obviously. What does that even mean? But this sounds like it means he's going to tax future earnings on your investments over time. And how do you make retirement when that's happening? I don't even understand that.
Yeah, it all amounts to just
You
big
just
government.
tax Wall Street. You get it done.
Let's get another ingredient.
Okay, next.
Krankenwagen!
All right, so tequila represents taxes. What do we got here? The finest, añejo. Oh no, that's not. That's Jose Cuervo. That's the cheap stuff. God, this.
It should be the cheap stuff.
I feel
to
like
make me able to
this.
afford
This
much.
does represent
That's
the economy.
plenty,
for sure.
right?
Oh God. No, no. You were taxed.
I was taxed.
I'll take yours.
He's-
Give him a real pour. Give him a man's pour.
You already
That's
gave it.
disgusting.
That's
Get
probably good right there.
out. All right, we got.
Y'all
the
can't
tequila.
tell. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink
Smells
very
bad.
much.
Taxes tequila because why? Why do we name it that? I don't even remember.
Because they're going to tax tequila and every other item. So here's a really depressing thought. By different metrics, if you add up all the taxes that you're going to pay in a given year, so that's your sales tax, that's your income tax, all the taxes, everything is ultimately taxed. So, I mean, even your cell phone and anyway, all the taxes, you add all of it up. Some people will say that's going to be a third of everything you make, but really it's probably closer to $1 out of every $2. So
Definitely
if
for
you're
me.
working, whether it's from January to April or January to
This
June,
is depressing. I know what you're gonna say.
all of that work, the first half of your year of work was just for the government, as we are right now. That's where our tax structure
Go on.
is. For the very first 6 months of the year, you're just working for Uncle Sam. And then the last 6 months of the year, that's for what you get to have, right? And so maybe it isn't for that for you. Maybe it's not 6 months. Maybe it's the last 7.5 months for you based on your tax structure. So that's already our tax rate. And so now the idea is to increase it even more and even more, right?
Taxes spend.
Yeah, and so it's just growing this big mammoth government, and the idea is fundamentally, presuppositionally, it's what is the answer to all of your problems? Is it if you were able to have the freedom and your own money, what could you do with double your income?
Wow.
What could you do with that?
What would we do?
I would be able to be more charitable was the very first
That's
thing
awesome.
that popped in my mind. I could give more. Yesterday
We could save more. We could give more. We could hire more people. We invest in our own company, so we would hire more people almost immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have like 5 people that we'd love to buy right now that we can't afford.
I cannot, we can't hire those people, and I can't be as charitable as I would like to be. I'm already charitable. I'm giving, but we just had Patch Our Planet in here
That's
yesterday.
awesome. Yep.
And giving to them, Blaze International, the missions thing that I support. So
More from
links
them.
down below, because why not? Anyway, being charitable and whatnot, what could you do if you were able to just keep a whole lot more money? Could you solve your problems, or is it big government? They say, no, you give us all your money and we'll solve
Spend
the
it better
problems.
for you.
And whereas I like what some of my taxes do, what I don't want to do is give no taxes. I would like to be able to have a good military. I would like to be able to have
good roads,
a fire department or a police department. That's one thing that you can't privatize. You could privatize fire possibly, but you couldn't privatize police as much. Some people, the anarchists, would be like, whatever, burn it all down. And then I'll be like, what about this and this? And they're like, you don't actually understand anarchy. And that's always the answer. Same thing with socialism. It's like, that's not real socialism. You don't understand real socialism. It's always that argument. I'm like, yeah, but I kind of do.
This is a socialist, democratic. No, it doesn't work.
No,
it's all fake.
Democratic socialism.
They've tried. How many millions of people? Right. How many millions and millions of people have to die before we realize that socialism and communism don't effectively work?
Yeah,
on planet Earth.
We've been testing that.
It is not a utopia. There's some people will die. Things happen.
Yeah. Ultimately, increasing the taxes more and more is going to have businesses running away from the United States instead of going up. And right now, look,
manufacturing.
In less than 100 years, the United States became the world's superpower, kind of like rising from nothing. The world was very well established in these empires all around the globe. And then new kid on the block, United States, pops up out of nowhere and just starts kicking tail, and now is the world's largest economy and military, and holy cow, what happened?
What an experiment.
And it was the great experiment. It was the freest country that's ever been conceived from the dawn of mankind. It's the freest country. And that freedom allowed people to be able to have unlimited potential with that freedom to earn. And so that was basically freedom plus free markets allowed of like, hey, go ahead.
We had a lot of problems. Nobody's saying we didn't. We started with some issues, but the Constitution let us out of a lot of that, and I think that's really cool. Well, people always just say we're awesome, but no, we had some flaws, and we've overcome them because of some of those ideals.
And still working through flaws, but it's kind of like, we're going to have problems no matter what.
Capitalism seems to be the one thing that's consistently been great.
Right, but I mean, like, we didn't rise to become the world's superpower on a socialist or communistic system. Other people are doing that, but they are deep in the shadow of the United States. So when you bring up one of these other countries, of like Bernie just recently was praising Cuba and Fidel Castro and some of his education reforms in light of all the firing squads and property seizures that were going on. I'm like, man, there weren't any Americans making rafts and trying to get into Cuba. Nowhere are Americans desperately pining to get into other countries. Instead, we have huge problems because everyone wants to come to our country, the land of opportunity, for a reason. And that's free market economy and freedoms in general and rights. And that's
we're not landlocked. We have a multicultural. We have a plethora of peoples living here. A lot of them disagreeing, and they're living pretty darn well
in the melting pot of the world.
Yeah. Right? What is this? The fifth ingredient and the last ingredient, the salt. Dr. Krankenwagen.
We picked salt for the Second Amendment. This is gun stuff because there's a seed right there. Salt for like assault weapons. Haha. That's funny.
All right, this is the final one. He's going to shake it up. If you want to make this at home, you can. We don't know if it's good yet. Here we go.
Oh, very good.
Speed Krankenwagen. Let's go. All right, mix it up. We had to put it in the cups first because we wanted to illustrate the point, but now it really needs to be shaken up. There's a lot of seeds in there, and that's disgusting.
Seeds, sehr gut.
Sehr good. Is that German for it's yummy? There we go. All right, he's putting.
Clinch pick.
Yeah.
There's no.
That's the clinch pick on where you put some side of supply co. This hat is new. It's not up yet. You're gonna have it in the future, and this is going to be great. All right, John's helping. I like it. All right, give it a good shake. Give it a good shake. Oh, yep. Safety first. You can cut out a lot of this. Just, oh, okay. Yes, delicious.
Well done. That's good.
All right. flute.
Thank you.
The garnish.
All right.
All right, again, this was ice. This was maple syrup. The Bernie Paloma lime, grapefruit, tequila, salt, and we're going to taste it.
What
for
are the
first time.
chances this is going to taste good at all?
Really bad. Cheers.
Cheers.
To America. It's pretty good. Ugh, it's got a horrible finish.
Wunderbar.
Good work, Krankenwagen.
Danke.
It doesn't have enough salt.
I think it's
Anyways.
disgusting. Oh, I feel the burn. I feel the burn.
I'm going to drink it. I don't care.
That is, in fact, disgusting.
All right, tasting notes. It's got a hint of burnt sugar, followed by a deliciously terrible tequila aftertaste, and then a little lime on the end.
It's real bad. I'm so
Feel the
done with
burn.
it.
All right,
It's
we're
real
done with
bad.
that.
It's
But
gross.
salt, the last ingredient. How are they going to enforce all this, John?
Yeah, well, so to be able to pull it off is once the millennials open their eyes and be like, whoa, hold on, we are
Right.
super broke. Of like, we're being taxed to death. We have no real hope. You free speech, all the rights that you possibly could have are guaranteed by this Second Amendment. That's why the founders really put it second. First is the freedom of speech, right? To practice your own religious expression. You have the freedom to critique your
Yes.
politicians, freedom of speech, right? Now, they put that as number one. Number two is the amendment that allowed us to be able to guarantee all your other rights. If you don't have it, ultimately, the world comes down to, and this isn't an idyllic thing. People don't like this. This is a very pragmatic
Right.
thing. This is looking at the history of the world. Whoever had the might got to decide what was right.
Might makes right.
And it rhymes, so it's got to be true, right? No, but seriously, ultimately, if people have guns, they get to make the rules.
They can
And
defend
so
themselves.
the ambition of our founders and the great experiment to make the freest nation on earth is they wanted to make sure it stayed that way. And tyrants will always, sometimes they grab power and sometimes they pick at power. And that's your freedoms, that just one thing of like, oh, see, it's a crisis.
Yep.
We'll solve your problem. There was a Benjamin Franklin quote. And it was something to the effect of those people who would trade a little essential liberty for security deserve neither, right? And so that's the idea of if you would trade your freedoms so that the government would take care of you. Oh, we got a climate crisis? Here, just give us control and your money and we'll fix the climate. Oh, there's a social crisis. Give us all your money and we'll fix that for you. You have, oh, you're worried about healthcare? We'll fix that. Retirement issue? No problem. Give us all your money. We'll fix all your problems. And kind of like, who do you ultimately trust to solve your problems? You or the government? Do you really trust them?
And this resonates with our Second Amendment community. Obviously, the left has been after this for a while. If you don't disarm the country, you can't control them. And that's an endpoint. It's one of Bernie's lesser points, but it is in there, and it would be how he would control all this. And he's going to go after that if he was elected.
Yep. So, guys, don't feel the burn. Anyway, this is us weighing in and just having a good chat, talking about all this stuff. So,
If you like the Pirate Paloma, the Bernie Paloma, sorry.
pirate,
The
Paloma?
pirate,
Are
but
you-
there is a thing called a pirate paloma. It was disgusting as well. If you want this, we're gonna have the ingredients below. It is disgusting, so don't make it.
Oh, no, I wish we just made an old fashioned or something.
Well, off camera.
Guys, train hard, train smart, and stay in the know, right? See ya.